Okay, so have you ever thought about how sleep is a strange thing? You are literally wasting 1/3 of your entire life by laying on your back with your eyes closed, eventually snoring and ruining the sleep of everybody else, sleepwalking, falling from your bed or needing to pee at least 5 times per night, and then finally waking up with that lovely sound of alarm, remembering something like when you accidentally turned the wrong program on TV instead of news and witnessed some kind of weird Japanese ad on hand soap. Or something like that. Or are you? Chapter 1: Circadian Rhythm. So, firstly, we need to understand how a thing called circadian rhythm works because it has essential effect on how our sleep works. So, it's practically a clock in your brain, not literally. It determines when you're hungry, thirsty, sleepy, awake, and etc. etc. So, as I said, you can be awake or asleep. Or it is determined by your hormones. Cortisol, which is a stress hormone and keeps you awake, and melatonin, which is sleep hormone and unexpectedly keeps you asleep. If their production is interrupted, it can lead to various sleep disorders, trouble falling asleep, or just terrible sleep in general. But we're gonna talk about it later. Now, let's assume that this video is boring enough and you're successfully asleep, and during this phase, you're experiencing sleep cycles. Now, let's take a look at that. Chapter 2: Sleep Cycle. So, one lasts approximately 90 minutes, but that may vary from person to person. It's divided into 2 main stages, REM and non-REM, and that is further divided into non-REM 1, 2 and 3. Now, let's look at them a little closer. So, firstly, non-REM 1. It happens when you're falling asleep. What happens in this phase called light sleep is your heartbeat, breathing, and brain activity slows down, and you're experiencing alpha waves. But we're gonna explain this later. Next phase is non-REM 2, or intermediate sleep. Your muscles and body temperature is dropping, and your heartbeat, brain activity, and breathing slows down even more, and your eye movement stops. Next phase is non-REM 3, also called deep sleep or slow wave sleep. It's nearly impossible to wake you up from this phase, and even if you woken up, you would feel disoriented, groggy, and confused. Along with REM sleep, this is a especially important phase of sleep for you because your body is releasing growth hormones that are responsible for our body repairing itself. Also, your muscles and bones are growing and your immune system is improving. The older you get, the less non-REM 3 you're experiencing. And the last, but definitely the most interesting phase is REM sleep. Your eyes are moving like crazy and your muscles are completely paralyzed. That means that if you woke up, there is a certain little chance that you would experience sleep paralysis, but more about that in chapter about sleep disorders. But what is the most important thing about this phase is that the most of the dream happen. That means that if you woken up somebody from this phase, they would probably remember a very vivid dream or nightmare. Also, your brain is highly active, which is very important because you're remembering things. That means that stuff is being stored in your long-term memory. After this phase ends, you switch back to non-REM 2 and the sleep cycle repeats. And that point, when you switch to non-REM 2, is the best time to wake up. Also, if you don't want to literally die while crawling out of your bed at 6 a.m., it's quite a good idea to maintain a sleep cycle. Reduce alcohol, blue light, caffeine, and heavy food before going to sleep. All these factors disrupt the melatonin production. And as for the room, you should pick dark, quiet, and chill room. No. Exactly like this one.
This is a mortuary.
Oh, no. Let me introduce you to a thing called EEG, or electroencephalograph. Remember how I've told you about brainwaves, right? Well, this EEG that kinda looks like some medieval torture device actually measures the electrical activity of your brain, so brainwaves. And what are these brainwaves exactly? The neurons that are your brain cells are generating electrical impulses. And if you've got enough of them left after mindlessly scrolling on TikTok, they're sensing into electromagnetic waves. And the electromagnetic waves are picked up by the EEG. There are 5 primary types of brainwaves: alpha, beta, gamma, theta, and delta. When we are awake, we experience mainly alpha and beta waves, where alpha waves appear mainly when we're awake and in a relaxed state, and beta when we're actively awake. When we're in real deep focus or in a flow state, we can also experience gamma waves. They have a really high frequency and low amplitude. When we're for example, meditating, daydreaming, or your mind is in very relaxed state, you can experience theta waves. And finally, delta waves with low frequency are associated with deep sleep. Also, talking about REM sleep, do you sometimes wake up and remember something like this? Or this? Or this? Now, let's take a look at what are these, or if they do really mean something. Chapter 3. Dreams. Alright, so first of all, why do we dream? Well, there's one theory which says that dreams are meant to prepare you for threats. Look, I think this theory is pretty interesting, but now let's take a look at theories of two guys well known for their discoveries in psychology. The first one who I want to talk about is Austrian neurologist Sigmund Freud. He believed that dreams are a gate to our subconscious mind and it can express our suppressed desires, fears, etc. etc. The second person is Swiss psychiatrist Carl Gustav Jung, who also thought that dreams are messengers from our subconscious mind and life is very highly influenced by our subconscious mind. He also said that dreams may warn us of the future that may happen if we don't change, or about crises that have long incubation, or just we don't see them coming. Both Jung and Freud divided dreams into two main categories. Jung divided them into big dreams that you remember for a long period of time and compensatory dreams you usually forget few minutes or hours after you wake up and are not very important. Freud divided dreams into manifest, that are dreams with literal meaning, or latent, that are dreams with hidden meaning and it has to be figured out. Jung also thinks that dreams are trying to compensate your conscious behavior. So if you're dreaming about selling organs to Bill Gates and then getting eaten by a giant pink shark with 8 legs, you should definitely reconsider your life choices. So finally, our body is not perfect and sometimes an error might happen. Now, let's look at what might go wrong while sleeping, or not sleeping actually. Chapter 4. Sleep disorders. So, first, sleep paralysis. It happens in REM phase, when our mind is partially woken, but our body is still asleep. That means you're paralyzed, while eventually seeing something like this. Very nice. Next is sleepwalking. That is a transitional state between waking and sleeping. And it's not acting your dreams out because it happens in non-REM 3 and it's generally more common among children. Alright, so there are much more disorders like insomnia and etc. but I'm lazy, right? Respect that. So I'm going to take a quick nap and see you in the next video, I guess. Bye for now.
And don't forget to sleep. Sleep is important.